And look, she bought everybody sandwiches.
Here we are again. Different day, same scenario. When we talk about injustice that is taking place. For you guys who are not up to date, we're going to be talking about Nolan Wells, 18-year-old guy from Mississippi, enrolled in college, decided to go hang out with his friends for the 4th of July. 4 or 5 of them went out on a boat, and Nolan is the only one who didn't come back.
What you talking about, was?
The strange thing about this case, you guys, is the friends have no clues about his disappearance. All of the friends are disassociating themselves in reference to what happened to Nolan. Unfortunately, Nolan's body was recovered on the 6th of July on Horn Island, which is basically an island off of the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. The friends that Nolan went on this trip with to Horn Island have since deactivated all of their social media pages, as well as their parents.
He ain't lying.
What we're here to do today, you guys, is dive deeper into this case and see what is really going on. Before we do that, though, I want to share something with you guys. As parents, as African-American parents, it's very important for us to set realistic expectations with our kids in reference to the things that can occur when they are not surrounded by people of their ethnicity. It's time for us to give our children a wake-up call. You got to have that talk and say, hey, listen, if you guys are stopped by law enforcement, there's a high probability that you'll be the one who's jailed and your friends will be sent on their way. As parents, we also have to educate ourselves. And we also have to be realistic and know that we live in a world where life is not fair. And unfortunately, we won't be the recipients of receiving the benefit of the doubt. Y'all, we're going to rock until the wheels fall off to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. Somebody is going to have to answer for what happened to him, because it seems as if there's a lot of fishy things going on right now. And so that's what we're here to do, uncover the truth. You guys, I appreciate the support that y'all have been giving me. Continue to rock with me. If you like the commentary, if you like the show, be sure to give me a follow, like, subscribe, comment. That's the only thing I want from you guys. Tonight, what we're going to do, as we always do, we're going to hit these Instagram streets. We're going to hit these YouTube streets to find the latest findings of this case. And then I want you guys to jump in the comments and tell me, do you guys suspect foul play? They're saying that this avid swimmer drowned. Nobody knows where he went. They say, oh, we saw him with a girl. That's it. His cell phone was left on the boat. Nobody knows anything. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to search for the truth, all hell no family, and we're going to make it happen. So let's go ahead, y'all, and hit these streets. We're going to check out our first reaction of the day. And y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Let's get into it.
Without me even knowing Nolan's story, I knew the outcome. And that's sad to say. I had already known the outcome. What's wrong with this picture?
A lot wrong.
What's wrong? It ain't no kinfolk. I remember going to Florida State University, and during the time that I was there, they used to tell us that, hey, if you are walking anywhere, you have to do a buddy system. You cannot be walking alone because literally every woman on campus, damn near 1 out of 4 women, were getting sexually assaulted on campus anytime they were caught alone. This reminds me of anytime a black person is on the outskirts or they're with their friends, white friends. This story, unfortunately, without me even knowing Nolan's story, I knew the outcome. And that's sad to say. I had already known the outcome. You go out camping with a group of white people, it's one black person, that black person ain't making it alive. You go out swimming, group of white people, one black person, that black person ain't making it alive. You go anywhere with white people and there's one black person, that black person isn't making it out alive. We have to teach our kids who the real enemy is. And I remember talking about this. It's not a matter of saying, who is an enemy where you want to go to war. It's just a matter of knowing who has your best interest. Anyone who does not have your best interest is an enemy. We've seen this story over and over again. Just not even a week ago. What is it? 2-3 weeks ago, there was a black boy who his white friends left him, knowing he couldn't swim, left him to drown, and was talking about his incarcerated father. You get what I'm saying? Yes. So when we talk about these stories and I'm hearing them over and over, when we're hearing all these names, Nolan and so on and so forth, all I can say is we need to focus on the resolve. I'm so tired of them playing with our emotions. Literally in this case, not only did all the friends say that they don't know what happened, but one of those friends of his mother is a judge. And I'm going to leave it at there. And let me ask you, what do you think the end of this is going to be?
Well, at the end of the
All right, y'all. Very steamy reaction. The situation that she was speaking of that happened last week, I saw footage of that last week where he did have a black teenager go out with his white friends and they left him stranded. He did not know how to swim, unfortunately. As he was seeking assistance from them to help him, they mocked him. They made monkey and gorilla noises. They talked about his father being incarcerated. They called him an idiot and they left him. Thank goodness it was a family that had a boat not too far away who threw a stick out there for him to grab on. And they assisted him within getting up on their boat. You got to watch who you call your friends. As for one of these gentlemen who was a friend or pretended to be a friend of Nolan, his mother is a judge. I wouldn't give a damn about it. I'm burning the whole house down. I'm burning the whole house down. I don't care if you're a judge, you're a policeman, firefighter. You sell oranges on the freeway. If you got something to do with this, you're going to have to answer. And unfortunately, I'm not waiting for the law because we already know what they're going to do, which is nothing. We already know that power, money equals corruption. And for the right price, you can get anybody to sweep anything under the rug.
duh.
You have to have them talks. You have to have them talks with your children and make things realistic for them and throw out those scenarios. Let them make their own decisions, but still at the same time be aware enough to say, hey, I got your back. I've warned you about this. And whatever else you do is on you. You can't keep kids from having friends. And not every person who is white is bad. I can say that. But it's time and place for everything. When I looked at that footage, Nolan was, if it was 500 people there, He was probably one of 3 black people. And one thing we know is that they're always going to take up for their own, no matter what. We know that. So what we're going to do right now, you guys, is we're going to get into another reaction video of someone breaking things down a little bit deeper, as well as comparing this to a case that happened last year. Let's go ahead and get into that. And then once again, you guys, y'all tell me y'all thoughts.
Well, here we are again, folks. And you know what I always say, those that do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Y'all remember what happened with this lady up here? This is Tamia Horsford, a 40-year-old mother in Forsyth, Georgia. She went to a sleepover with some football moms in 2018. And the next day she was found dead, face down in the backyard of the very place where they were having the sleepover. And nobody know nothing about what happened. And to this day, there has not been justice in this case. And those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
Now, how is it that someone comes over to your house for a sleepover? I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's in the picture. It may have been more than that. The next morning, you're found in the backyard deceased, and nobody knows what happens to you. Nobody knows what happened to you, none whatsoever. This case was looked at and concluded in 30 minutes. Think about that. Written off as a suicide. So somebody is going to just throw themselves off of your balcony at your house. And they're going to say, oh, she meant to do it. Next, who else we got? What about her children? What about her father, her mother, her husband? She went over here to bond with these ladies, to have a good time, unwind, get some mother time, have a few drinks. And she ends up dead. And the investigation, like I say, lasted around 30 minutes. And then the next thing you know, everybody is on with their life. What about this lady here? I guess she was the wrong complexion for the connection. Let's continue.
This young man right here is Nolan Wells, who unfortunately was found deceased just a little while ago. He went out to Horn Island in Ocean Springs, Mississippi with these guys right here for a July the 4th excursion, and he didn't make it home. These guys brought his phone back to his mother and father, but they did not bring him back. So I say to you once again, because I just made this same video a few weeks ago when the Carmelo Anthony trial was going on, stop putting your kids in these situations where they are in danger. I know you feel like you're doing what's best for them. I know you feel like sending them to the white schools and putting them in these white neighborhoods and white enclaves and having all white friends. I know you feel like you're doing what is best for them, but you are putting your beautiful black babies in danger.
And parents, what do you think happens? Because look, we all want the best education for our children. We all want our children to be in the best environments. But when you send a African-American child to a predominantly white school, you don't think they feel it? You don't think their teachers treat them some type of way? You don't think that there's points in school where they feel isolated, feel like they don't have anyone that can identify with some of the issues that they may tend to have to endure at school? Look it up. There are people who went to boarding school, charter schools, private schools, who were the only black there. Do the research. See how they say they were being treated. Not only by the faculty, but also, most importantly, by the students. Getting racial slurs thrown at them, getting bullied because they are outnumbered, being told that they are not welcome at the school. Not because academically they couldn't hold up. Not because at this point here it was different social classes. It was because the color of their skin. And that's not right. As this brother here says, stop putting your kids in this predicament and thinking just because you pay tuition for them to go to this school, that's going to alleviate them from racism, alleviate them from wrongdoing, alleviate them from harassment. You got this same thing going on in college, where the ethnicity is spread out. If it's going on in college, what do you think is happening in high school? What do you think is happening in elementary? Parents, we have to do better. We have to rise up. We have to find another way. There's no way I'm putting my child in a predominantly white school. I'm sorry. Because I already know they're erasing the culture. I already know they're erasing history. Certain things are not being celebrated. And we ain't gonna even talk about why y'all black folks even celebrating 4th of July. Because it's definitely not freedom for us. You just want to do something. How many of them celebrated Juneteenth? They just looked at it as another free off day. Wise up.
Tamia Horsford is gone. Nolan Wells is gone. And nobody know nothing. Nobody knows anything. And his death has been ruled an accidental drowning. But somebody knows something. Somebody knows something. And at the end of the day, we do not learn from history, and it continues to repeat itself. Don't be the token in the group, because tokens get spent. And as you see right here, history keeps on repeating itself until we get smart enough to understand. Stop putting yourself in these dangerous situations. You are in danger.
Man, I love something that he just said, and I don't know if y'all caught on to that. This brother said tokens get spent. Do you guys know what he meant by that analogy? It's the same thing I said earlier. If it's 4 kids in the car and they get pulled over by law enforcement, car smell like weed, that token, who's a black guy, he's the one that's going to go to jail. Not only because of his skin color, number one, but number two, the connections that 9 times out of 10, the 3 other white kids in the car, the connections that their parents have, that's going to be able to get them out of trouble. As stated earlier, one of the parents is a judge. The other parent is a notable doctor. And we ain't gonna even talk about the other 2 kids' parents. That's just one child's parents. Do you not think that they have the strings that they can pull to get their child out of trouble? Y'all, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to tap in with my boy Amazing Lucas. Love his commentary. He's going to give us more findings about this case. More of the timelines, so we can make a educated decision for ourselves whether it was a situation where Nolan drowned or it was some foul play that was going on? Let's get into it.
So this story is a story as old as time, and it's crazy to me, genuinely, that it's still happening in 2026. But I will say, as long as we have these colorblind blacks, the people are like, hey, bro, we're all in this together. We're all just trying to, get along and everything. As long as we have this mindset, evil will occur because evil is the constant. So if you put your head in the sand and be like, well, I don't see no evil, well, then what does that do? That gives evil a blank check. So that being said, this leads us to this horrible incident, but you have this 18-year-old black kid, Nolan Wells, who was to celebrate 4th of July, all right, goes out to Horn Island with a group of his friends. Group of his friends being predominantly white. I'm not making it racial. I'm just making an observation, okay? That being said, long story short, everyone makes it home except Nolan.
Damn.
That's literally the end of the story. His family starts to notice that Nolan hasn't made it home. They call a missing person. Authorities go and search. As the story goes, guess what the authorities say? Well, the authorities say, hey, we found somebody, and it seems to be your kid, and it seems that they drowned. That's what it seemed to be. Now, we have to keep, finish the investigation, but that's what it looks like. Kid drowned. Now, the strange part about that is Nolan knew how to swim. Yeah, that's correct. Now, I'm not saying that, people who know how to swim are can't drown. I'm not saying that, but I just find it a bit interesting given this kid knows how to swim. And also on his Instagram page, he's shown that he has no issue with the water. He has a loving relationship with the water. He's very fond of the water. He does this all the time. So there has to be something that caused him to not come home. I don't know what it is. Mum's a word. Nobody's got any answers. And here's the thing.
So y'all, let me say this. Catch what amazing Lucas just said. He said, look, he knows how to swim. Now, I will say this. There is definitely a difference between being in a swimming pool and an ocean. There are plenty of people who know how to swim, but when the currents from that ocean hit them, no matter how good of a swimmer they are, they'll come to their demise. But one of the things that Lucas said was he's used to this. I guarantee you can look at the pictures and tell that they hang out all the time. He's used to this water. He's used to this to this island. As a parent, you do not expect for your child to leave and not return. You want your children to go and have a good time. You do not expect to come into your worst fear. And that's receive a call saying that your child is missing and no one knows about his whereabouts. As a parent, that's the worst thing that you can hear. And it should stop and make all of us think in reference to the safety of our children. The expectation is for you to leave healthy and unharmed and for you to come back the same way. So I appreciate Lucas for putting that out there saying, hey, Nolan was no stranger to the ocean. Very familiar, avid swimmer. So it wasn't a situation, like I said, where he was in unfamiliar territory. Let's get back into it, y'all.
The reason I won't even make it racial, right? I'm literally just making an observation because there were black friends with him. His black friends didn't go with him. They said, oh, the boat was full, so I couldn't go with him. So he was by himself. When they left, they didn't notice him gone. So he was once again by himself. We don't know why he chose to stay on the island. We don't know if he actually did say that he wanted to stay on the island. We don't know anything. You want to know why? Dead men tell no tales. Damn. And here's the thing. I don't know what to tell you because it's at this moment in time, you can't trust anybody. We are coming off of the Carmelo Anthony trial. For all the people who want to say, well, it's because he had white friends. Man, we just saw that there are black friends, quote unquote, who will betray you on the stand, who will be like, yeah, he was the aggressor. Yeah, it was his problem. So you have to understand that, as you know, the saying goes, not all skin folk are kinfolk. You have to be aware of your company. And if you got a kid, which I think 18, you are a kid, you have to tell him that he has to be aware of his company. Because at the end of the day, it's just different cultures. It really is. I've seen a whole bunch of white kids, how they play. I've seen black kids and how they play. I've seen when times of trouble arise, the very different reactions. You'll have a black kid be like, hey, bro, I need help. And we'll ask, you for real? You messing with me? And they confirm, no, bro, I need help. We'll cut the ish and we'll get and help them. That's not how many of the white kids behave. And I'm not saying all, I'm saying many. In my experience, that's not how they behave. You can be pleading for your life and they'll think you're joking. They'll say, hey, come on, bro, you'll be fine. Let's go. And they'll walk off. That's what will happen, bro.
Yeah, let me drown. As a joke. We already know you won't receive any consequences from it. Not everything is all fun and games. As friends, and I was taught this from an early age. Your mom may say, hey, look, all of you guys are leaving together. Everybody need to come back together. Same thing that you're told. Your siblings are told this by your parents all the time. You guys have to look out for each other when you're out and about. That is your goal. That is your duty. Who did Nolan have looking out for him? Sure, not the people he was with. Of course, there's no way that Nolan would have joined these guys if he knew that this right here would be the final outcome. He really thought that these guys are his friends. But once again, life will really show you who's with you and who's against you.
That's what will happen. And, when eventually something happens, they'll go turn on the waterworks. I didn't know. I thought he was joking. It was just a joke. I did it. That's how that works, bro. That's how that works. So I'm not knocking it. I'm not making it racial. I'm just saying I'm making an observation, bro, on how certain groups of people, based off of their upbringing, have learned to handle certain trauma. It just is what it is. So we're a little more privy to that because we understand what that fear means. Whereas them, they may not see that. They joking, with their friends all the time. Everything's great, la, la, la. And so we see this even with the healthcare, how, when Black women's pain or Black people's pain is not seen as severe as others. So when dealing in this country, you have to understand that, the country is skewed to one side. And it just is what it is. If you don't like it, then you should be fighting for the change or leave. That's it.
And I'm gonna be 100% honest with y'all. Y'all want us gone? Hell, I don't want to be around y'all either. I don't want to be around y'all either. That's just being serious. We're better off on our own. The way things are looking. Every time you turn around, there's something happening every week. Every week. Now, however, I will say this. You could just have a group of teenagers who are just assholes, who are just selfish, and they only think about themselves. That could be the case too. But what's bringing more spotlight to this is that it was only one African American in that group. And that's the person who didn't come back. And I'm so shocked that nobody knew what happened. Really think about that. So yeah, just the same feeling you guys got for us, I got the same feeling for you. I'll tell you that it's tenfold, buddy.
But complaining about it doesn't do anything, bro. These people don't care. That's why I keep saying it's on really Black men to make said change.
Come on now, dog.
I would say, where was his Black father in teaching him this? But my guess, and I don't know, I could be 100% wrong, and I'll take that on the chin if it happens. But my guess, it was probably one of those teachings and upbringings of, hey, we're all God's children. God loves us all. We got to judge people by the content of the character, not by the color of the skin, and yada, yada, yada. And all that's good if everyone's on the same page. Problem is,
I want to say, I would like to say that or I would like to hope that his father was not naive in reference to educating his African American son on life and how things go. I've been there, you guys. I've been there. I have at one time had a best friend who was of Caucasian descent. And there have been situations where things that were unjust occurred, and he was given the benefit of the doubt, and I was not. Even though we're on the same playing field, it was level, it was equal. And at that time, that was my realization. That was my wake up. So I'm going to say, I hope that Noah's father had a talk with him and told him, as a black man, black teen, how to protect himself while he's going out. Protect himself the best way he can while he's going out. So I do want to give him that credit. And I'm pretty sure that he did. I'm pretty sure that he did.
Is not everyone is on the same page. So yes, that's great to teach them that, but you also have to teach them the flip side, that you're gonna come across people who don't care for you, who don't like you, they don't know you, but simply how you look, they simply just don't like you, right?
Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. You're going to run across people who do not like you, don't have a reason to like you, don't know your characteristics as a person. They're just basing it off of your skin color, and they're putting you in the box with everybody else. Don't matter what your profession is. Don't matter if you are into philanthropy. They don't care. They see you as somebody black, and everybody who's black in their eyes is uneducated, unsavory, and they don't want to be around them.
Come across two-faced people who say they like you, but really when they're around their friends and their family, they don't. So you have to be privy to that. You have to be aware. You have to be socially aware. That's what you have to have. And, for everyone talks up, about the scripture and everything, scripture speaks of discernment. You have to be discerning about who's who, right? Do you have a group of friends? Now, I learned my lesson when it came to, I believe, what was his name? Christopher Gilbert, because this kid was pushed into a lake, right? That's how the story came out. He was pushed into the lake, predominantly white friends, right? But not even predominantly, all white friends, pushed into the lake, comes out, may suffer brain damage and everything. And I'm like, hey, this is horrible. We see what's going on. Nobody searched for him. It had to have a bystander who came and saved this dude, pulled him from the lake. And he comes out and is like, hey, that's not true.
You guys, this is the story I was talking about earlier with this gentleman right here begging his friends to save him, his white friends to save him because he couldn't swim. Now, I'm going to say this. Why you take your dumb ass out on a lake if you can't swim? Life jacket or not, if you panic, you're in trouble. And what are most people who can't swim going to do? When they're pushed into a lake, they're going to panic. They're not going to think. They're not going to relax their body. And look at him. He looked like he one of those guys. Oh, it's okay, man. Those guys didn't mean it. They're my buddies. They're my friends.
Oh, the master love tap dance.
You can tap dance as much as you want. You will never be considered an equal of people who have this type of mindset.
It was an accidental push. That's what it was, an accidental push. I love my white friends. They're great. I think this is horrible how my family has exaggerated, the claims and yada, yada, yada. That right there, I was like, oh, okay, well, mum's a word. There's nothing you can say about this. And I don't know what to tell you, but we literally are just coming off a 1-year-old black child who's no longer with us, bruh. There hasn't been any charges against law enforcement. I don't know how to make this more clear to you. Y'all keep acting like, I don't know where y'all acting like you in Wakanda. You in America, fam. And for the same group of people who constantly want to talk about how much they love the country and everything, a lot of y'all it seems like you don't have the proper history. It seems like you learned a different history than the actual history, than what actually transpired here in this country. So I don't know what to tell you. Now, once again, I'm not saying that you should be, treating a group of people a certain way. All I'm saying is, as your parents would tell you, be cautious. Be aware. That's it. And you have to be cautious and aware whether they're black, brown, white. It just is what it is. But you also have to take into account that, hey, this person may not have been raised the same way you were raised. This person may not have the same fears that you have. And you have to take that into account, that this person may not take as far as your grievances or your distress in a suitable manner. And that's important. Especially when you come, you're on an island, a secluded place, surrounded by water, boats and everything. It is what it is. And we can see that when times get bad, a lot of these mofos stay on code. These are
on code, and they're going to take care of their own. And as my grandma say, you left in the river without a paddle or a boat. But, while Lucas was talking, I had this thought, y'all. See, this is what I think, too. When we're talking about those black kids who go to predominantly white schools, some of them have an amazing time there. Maybe they're a star football player, basketball, baseball player. So they're celebrated. And there are times when they're out and about hanging with their school friends that they may ignore racist signs, racist comments, because they think their friends are just being funny, joning on them. You have to pay attention to what people say and how they say those things. Some of you guys are so brainwashed, and it starts with the parents. You're so brainwashed to think that you are equal. You will never be equal. You will never be equal. And it's sad to say, things will never get the type of investigations that white people get if it's something dealing with them. We won't get that just due. In order for us to get halfway just due, we down there got to take over social media. It has to be more than the parents who are fighting for this child. And that's what everyone should be doing. Now, while we're talking about the parents, I do want to say that they have obtained Ben Crump as their legal representation. Am I in favor of that? No. I'm not in favor of everybody who's black running to Ben Crump. I'm sorry. Now, I don't know if he's the first one that reached out and he's like, hey, I heard about what happened. I got you guys. Let me guide you through this. I'm not stoked about that. I feel like proper legal representation should be had, but we're going to sit back. We're going to, what they say, listen, not judge, and see how things go.
The Carmelo Anthony, they all stayed on code. They all were like, well, it was this person. And when something happens, they'll all go, hey, bro, you want to go to jail? We can go to jail. You want to go to prison? No, I didn't see anything. Did you see? I didn't see.
And Eddie, I'm still mad at you. I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in your parents. We ain't got up off your ass yet, Eddie. We ain't got up off you yet, buddy. Because sooner or later, you're going to get your just due too with your buddies.
I don't know what happened. And we can see even by, what's his name, Ahmaud Arbery, how they work. Ahmaud Arbery, we would have never heard about Ahmaud Arbery. Do you understand? That would have never happened. Same thing. We had, what was the black woman, I forgot her name. But all white sleepover. Find her, face down, say, oh, she fell. She fell from, it was a high rise, fell off, what did they say, a two-story? Two-story, she fell. That's it. Case closed. Cases get closed very quickly when it becomes a black victim.
30 minutes,
from
y'all.
what I've seen. They get closed very quickly. Oh, that's a suicide. Oh, yeah, he drowned. Oh, yeah, they just fell. That's how that works. So I'm not saying that that's right. I'm just telling you that's how that is.
Shouts out to Amazing Lucas, you guys. Once again, make sure you guys give him a follow. If you do want to see the rest of that video, make sure you hit up Amazing Lucas in your search box for YouTube. I'll tell you this, you guys. I can't wait to hear new evidence of the case. I can't wait. What the friends are saying is that, the last time we saw him, he just left his phone on the boat and he went off with a girl. That's the last time we saw him. So if that's your friend, you mean to tell me his cell phone is on a boat? He said, I'll leave my cell phone on the boat. I'm about to go with this girl. I have no way to have communication with anybody to let them know whether I'm safe or not. No way to get in contact with my parents, answer their call, answer their text. I'm just gonna leave my phone on the boat. And then also, there are videos circulating where a group of friends got into it, and right in the middle of that, you have Nolan. Some are saying that he was de-escalating. Some are saying that he was a bystander in reference to what's happening. But once again, I want to know if these are your friends or were your friends, and which I think they never were. I think that it was just a situation where they wanted to be around someone who had notoriety in reference to sports. It was more convenient for them to hang out with you. With friends like these, you don't need enemies. That's why they say watch the people who are around you closer than the people that have discussed for you. You guys, we're going to continue to cover this case. This is part 1. As we get updates, I'll definitely stop by, chat it up with you guys to get your comments. Like I say, y'all, be sure to jump in the inbox. Let me know, what you're thinking. Comment, share, subscribe. I appreciate your time. It's your boy Jay. I'm gonna let y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.